Now, Jordan, I suppose you want to know about Trump versus the Illuminati.
Oh, that's what this whole thing started with. That was the very first pick. I have to know how bad it is.
It was all leading to Trump versus the Illuminati.
Talk.
Okay.
Talk.
Trump versus the Illuminati is a terrible fucking movie. I'm sure that does not surprise you. Okay, I actually have to pull up the Wikipedia article to read it to you because I don't think I'm going to get all the details. So, in the year 2044, an advanced artificially intelligent robots drain the Earth of its natural resources, leaving nothing but a husk of a planet for humanity. Humanity is forced to escape into space in a fight for survival. A Chinese clone of Donald Trump.
The 45th U.S. President, Donald J. Trump, survives the Earth's destruction by escaping his maximum security lab. His petri dish-grown body, fused with the latest AI technology, possesses eternal life and large hands. During his escape from Earth, Trump's ship crash lands on Mars. Unable to leave, he
survives the planet's destruction by escaping the maximum security laboratory in which he's kept, by stowing away on the last shuttle headed to space, and he winds up on Mars, where he ends up living alone for 1,000 years, until the last surviving members of humanity show up and convince him to go and fight the Illuminati, ultimately having him go to hell to fight Satan.
Okay, so unlike the other movie, I have so many questions about this one.
Okay.
Who made this?
Here's the thing, right? So you know how everyone's all like you can edit Wikipedia, so you shouldn't trust Wikipedia. So this is written and directed by someone named BC14. And
that's a real name.
According to BC14, he's an American screenwriter, novelist, film director, and editor. He began his career with a slate of award-winning short films and music videos. Award-winning, Jordan. I looked through them. None of them look award-winning. I feel like he wrote this. There's no way he didn't.
I feel like this isn't true.
I feel like he wrote this. This has got to be and the thing about it is, like, it feels like it's written by AI. Like, you know how, like, you see, like...
It sounds like it's written by AI.
Like, you know, have you ever seen those videos where it's like, I plugged in 600 hours of stand-up into an AI?
Yeah.
And had them, or I programmed an AI to write a Batman movie? That's what this feels like. Like, the dialogue feels like it's written by AI. It's one of those ones that, like, it perplexes me, the people who are voice acting in it. What did they think as they were making this? Like, how did they feel?
It's a paycheck.
Like, it's wild because it's such a confusing movie because you'd think, based on the title, that it's a pro-Trump movie, but the movie and the character of the clone makes painstaking efforts to point out the fact that he's not Donald Trump.
Crumbled somewhere in the rubble of Earth's ruin. I wonder if the original Donald Trump had any concept of the life that hung in the balance of his social media storm, or if he ever even gave a fuck.
Like, every chance he gets, he points out that he's not Donald Trump. He is a clone of Donald Trump. And every other character consistently points out how he is Donald Trump. Like, oh yeah, you're Donald Trump. He's the spirit of Donald Trump. He has the energy of Donald Trump. He's as good as Donald Trump. And he's like, no, I'm not Donald Trump. You can just call me Trump. I'm a clone of Trump. It's so confusing. And like.
So it's not. It's safe to say that it's not like propaganda.
No, yet kind of, sort of. But then there's points where they're like, oh, Donald Trump was the most evil president of all time, and he's super bad. And the original Donald Trump was like this bad guy, and like he's this awful person who did that, and he got killed. And the only thing of note that he did was be the 45th president of the United States, and it's his fault that all this happened. And like,
wow.
But he's the hero of this, theoretically.
That sounds very confusing.
And then there's a moment where the Illuminati shows up, and he tries to bribe them by like offering them like 1,000,000 yen, but the Earth is destroyed, so yen would be worthless. So why? And they're aliens. Why would they? They seem interested, but they're aliens.
Okay, but here's the fun question. What was your favorite part about it? And don't say the ending. Don't say when it was over.
That it was short. It was only an hour and 6 minutes. It feels like
Okay.
it feels like it doesn't end so much as it just kind of stops with the character dancing.
Which side are you on, TJ?
Call me Trump. To everyone, including all haters and losers, Happy New Year.
Okay, no.
So then, next follow-up question. Next question: would you say that this was adequate revenge for Batman versus Superman?
It kind of, in the sense that it's not the only one.
Oh, so what you're saying is I'm gonna be having you come back to this.
No, what I'm saying is there's a prequel, and I watched that too because this was only an hour and 6 minutes.
Feel your footprints, interloper. Who goes there?
He wants to kill you all.
A 60-megaton space bomb. If detonated, it could wipe out 2/3 of our galaxy.
I have an idea. An old friend of mine.
Is he tough?
Tough. He's a war machine.
There's a prequel, and
Yeah.
is it also about the clone?
It's about a clone. So okay, it's okay. So there's a prequel. It comes out a month later. So this came out in October of 2020. This prequel comes out a month later in November of 2020. Oh, and the big thing with that Trump one is you barely see his face. Like the entire time he's wearing a spacesuit. All of the characters in this all look like they're basic default assets in an animation program. So like they're all generic, like they're like, oh, we're the Illuminati and this is Satan, but they all just look like generic gray aliens, and all of the human characters, you never see their face. They're all in like spacesuits, and Donald Trump is in a NASA spacesuit, and you occasionally it'll flash and you kind of see his face, but his lips never move. Like you never act, and it's a bad impression to top it off. Like you never see his face. And so there's a subplot where there's another clone who is oh fuck, what was his name? Hold on. I've got it open for this exact reason. There's another character who is a clone of Van Helsing. And I think it's VH. I think he goes by VH. He goes by VH. Oh, every character in this movie is fucking horny as shit. They constantly make references to having sex with each other, or performing oral sex on each other, or doing weird sexual things. There's a point where for some reason, Trump has been stranded on Mars for 1,000 years, and he's made a friend who's another astronaut who is dying, who at one point asks him if he actually grabbed women by the pussy. He's like, what's the... And he's like, you grabbed... And he's like, and he reminds... The clone reminds him that he's not actually Trump. He's like, I'm not actually Trump, so I've never actually been with any of those women.
I never said that.
I never do that. I'm not him. But there's an entire subplot where Trump is just gone for this already short movie. He's gone for at least 10-15 minutes of it, where it cuts to this other clone of Van Helsing and his partner Bigfoot, and there's this entire subplot of him. I'm not gonna lie to you. This failed the phone test so immediately. And the plot was so most of the dialogue is incomprehensible. So I couldn't follow a lot of what was happening other than like just generally. But like he's doing this other thing where he's fighting these alien bad guys. and that they keep insisting are lizard people, but they don't look like lizard people because they're all gray. They just look like generic gray aliens. And so there's a prequel which is called Bigfoot versus the Illuminati, which is Van Helsing is about Van Helsing. It's a prequel about the Van Helsing clone, and him fighting the aliens. But whoever was making these movies couldn't remember anything in between making them, despite the fact that they came out like a month apart, because one of the characters is Aleister Crowley, and his voice sounds like Zim from Invader Zim.
Okay, high pitched and annoying.
Yeah, like literally, it just sounds like Invader, like Richard Horvitz's kind of voice. I looked it up; it's not voiced by him, but you could have fooled me. And part of the plot of the prequel is summoning him, because he's the one. Because part of this is they've made a deal with Anubis, who both exists and is not on Earth because they go to his temple, but they say that there's nothing left on Earth, but they go to his temple, and they basically talk to him to discover that the clone of Donald Trump is on Mars, and that's what incites the whole incident. But in this prequel, one of the priests, in the prequel, they're no longer called the Illuminati. They're called a different name, but they still work for Satan, and Aleister Crowley is still their boss. So they use Anubis to summon Aleister Crowley, but they couldn't be bothered to remember which model they used for him. So the model that they used for him for the first one is a completely different model now. So it doesn't look the same. So it doesn't look like the same character, but the character that was him is now a totally different character. And there's a point where they're testing this technology. There's this doctor called Dr. Jekyll. And I could talk about this movie for hours.
And his friend, Mr. Hyde.
And he injects the evil Aleister Crowley. They kidnap, they capture Aleister Crowley, and they eject him with this truth serum that they're like, this will either make you do what I tell you, or you can just do what I tell you. But then he refuses to do what they tell him. So they're like, it's just going to poison you anyway.
So the serum doesn't work?
It doesn't do anything ultimately, no. And so, so they use Anubis to summon him so that they can gain the power of the god of Ra. And the Dr. Jekyll injects this chip that's supposed to make him this hyper-competent, badass fighter, and also makes him incredibly proficient in sex. Like, he's just amazing at sex. So there's just, the back half of this is just him having sex with this girl. And, it's just, set to weird, stationary... There's so many stationary environment shots that are clearly just default, copyright, royalty-free images in, Maya. It just looks like they used all the default assets in Maya. That's what this looks like.
Oh, God. Okay, so... I have one more question before the final question. You being the expert filmmaker that you are, do you think you could salvage this?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Do you think you could take
the
shell of this movie and make it into a successful major movie?
Number one, yes. I could absolutely have it where you send Trump to space and he's got to fight space aliens. I wouldn't. They're trying to do this thing of they're making fun of conspiracies and it doesn't work. Just have it where it's Trump and he goes to space and he fights aliens from Mars. It doesn't need to be a clone. Just have it be Trump. The fact that he's a clone is a weird detail. Not much of this feels it literally feels like this guy put Trump, Illuminati, and aliens into an AI algorithm, a Chat GPT, and it spat this out.
He probably did. It wouldn't surprise me.
And he wrote his own Wikipedia. I'm doubting if this is even a real person.
It's just a robot.
If you're gonna ask me if I enjoyed it, only in the sense that this is
the final question. You have to let me ask it, Justin. We have to if I'm gonna have to go through the niceties of you talking to me about my movies, you have to let me do the interview question.
Fine.
Did you enjoy this movie?
In the sense that it's yielded many minutes of content, yes. As a movie, no. It's not even. I don't even think it's fun. I saw people. Actually, no. The best part about this movie was a review I read for Bigfoot versus the Illuminati, which described the animation as good, which was lying.
Good.
It's not. It was
Good.
It's not good. It's not good animated. No, somebody said it was good. It was one of those movies where it's like you could enjoy it as a so bad it's good. Maybe yeah, with the correct amount of liquor and Mary Jane and the correct group of friends, this could be fun. But alone,
You
for
take
the
a
purposes
you take
of
a
saying stuff about it, no, it was not fun.
you take a shot every time he does X thing.